podcast party to slay a dragon.
Looking down this gulch, do we see anything else? There are trees on either side?
Yeah, so there are trees lining the sides of the gulch. It is well after midnight at this point. You're far enough from the fires of Hengistbury that the sky is clear and filled with stars overhead. There's a fair amount of starlight and moonlight drifting down into the gulch. It continues to the southeast of your position, and it looks like there's a little streamlet leading off of the gulch that passes to the southwest directly in front of the farmhouse. At least it seems to. Kind of curves around the copse from what you can see from your position.
Maliboo would like to kneel down for a second and check the ground to see if he can see like little kobold footprints or signs of someone being dragged, that sort of thing.
Survival check. Wisdom survival.
It is a 15.
Maliboo, with your dark vision, you can clearly see a sort of smooth track running down the center of the wet gulch and scaly footprints on either side of that smooth track. It looks like a party of kobolds dragging a boat down the length of the gulch.
I think this is the right way. Look. And I show everybody the tracks and the drag mark.
Great. We should try to be quiet. As quiet as possible.
Oh, yeah.
I'll try my best.
I think maybe lighting any kind of a torch or a light would give away our position if we know that they're there and they don't know that we're here.
What if we just hold on to the back of a cloak or something for the people who can see? Because I'm just as blind as you.
Belton, you're free to hold on to the back of my cloak if you wish. We're the same height, so it'd be easy.
Well said, Violet. I will gladly hold on to your cloak. And he steps behind Violet and takes a hold of her cloak.
I can see, so I'll go first, but I'm probably gonna die.
Can I hold on to your cloak?
A little depressing.
Sure.
He's having an existential crisis.
Oh.
Everybody just be sneaky.
I'll try.
May I have a group dexterity stealth check, please?
Violet got a 12.
Hallelujah. I found the die.
Yeah.
It's a dirty 20.
Maliboo got a 19.
Oh, good.
That is a natural 20 for 25.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay.
Woo!
I'm certainly going to call that a group success. So using your cloak holding method, you slowly and quietly make your way down the gulch. Occasionally there's a wet squelch underfoot as your feet sink a little bit into the muddy bottom of the dry riverbed, but you feel like you're moving pretty quietly.
So Maliboo's going to follow that track where the boat was obviously dragged. He's going to also keep an eye out for if any of the kobolds seem to have split off to either side, but mostly he's going to be following that boat track, and he's going to wonder if it makes this turn. He stops right at this little southwest turn, and he's looking to see if it goes that way towards the cabin.
It actually comes up out of the gulch here and moves. You can see the grass is flattened immediately north of the gulch, and there are scrabbling marks on the side of the gulch as if they probably all clambered out of the stream bed here and moved towards the farmhouse structure, which you can now see exposed. So the wood of the old farmhouse has been so bleached by the sun and weather that it is deadened to gray. You can see signs of termite damage, and glass has been smashed out of the windows. There's a dark gaping hole in the east wall where a door should be. And Maliboo, if you're scanning to see if you're being watched or if maybe there might be kobolds on the opposite side of the gulch, why don't you go ahead and make a wisdom perception check?
That is an 18.
Nothing seems to be watching you from the eastern side of the gulch. Scanning the farmhouse, you can see the shadowy snout of a kobold pretty still in the darkness just inside that gaping hole in the east wall, like it might be crouching against the ruined wall there.
Like on guard duty or like asleep? Or is it hard to tell?
Make an intelligence investigation check.
That's a 6.
You're free to draw whatever conclusions you draw.
There's a guard.
Perhaps we should go in through the trees to have some cover as we get closer?
Or we could crawl through the gully, but it's kind of noisy with all this mud.
Yes, that's true.
The trees it is.
How high is it to get up this side of the gully?
It's variable. It's the sort of natural dry riverbed, and it's not a very steep climb to get up. It's like, maybe a 45-degree incline. In some places 5 feet, maybe in some places 7 feet.
Well, we can do that.
Yeah, okay. Maliboo will start leading everybody up into the trees.
The stars disappear above the overhanging lush branches of these oaks and elms as you creep towards the farmhouse. Above the hole, which is in the lower eastern section of the house, the rest of the eastern wall, the north wall of the farmhouse, look pretty intact.
Okay. They'll stop at the edge of the trees. Okay, it's open ground after here.
Maybe we could sort of scooch
Around?
over to the corner here. Come on, Belton.
So we're gonna sneak around through the trees and see if when I get to the back, Maliboo's gonna look to see if there's maybe another entrance or another doorway through the back of the house.
You do see a window in the north wall. There's just a few broken panes of glass. Peering through the window, you can make out several kobolds crouched in the dark farmhouse.
Yeah, and when Maliboo gets to the back corner, he can see definitely one in there, or something in there.
Those of you without dark vision, you can make out the silhouettes of the kobolds, but you really can't make out any detail about their gear or clothing or accoutrement. Those of you with dark vision, make a wisdom perception check.
Maliboo got a 10.
And Violet got a 6.
It's very dark and shadowy. You can make out that there's a pack of kobolds in there, but really no details.
Okay.
That's a lot of kobolds.
How many are we talking?
I can see alone, 5.
I can see 2, maybe 3, and then there was one at the door.
Oh,
That's
no,
15.
I see 7. If I move around, I can see the inside, and I see 7. I see 8. 8 kobolds in there.
Do we want to have a distraction and bring some out?
Yes, splitting them up would be a very good idea. I wish we could have some sort of high ground.
Is there a roof?
There is a roof with slate shingles, many of which have fallen away, and you can see the wooden beams underneath. It is a 1-story building.
I can climb this tree and cover you with my crossbow, if that will help.
We just gotta get him out in the open, honestly.
Yes.
Who's the bait?
Probably me, because I'm going to die anyway, so I'll just do it.
No, Maliboo.
Maliboo, do we need to have a talk? Do we need to talk about this? You're being very fatalistic, and we're about to go into a big fight, and I just want to make sure that you're up for it, I feel that you're vulnerable.
I'm good. Tal, if 2 of us were to block, this back looks like it's open.
Yes, there is another collapsed wall on the west side of the building.
Could 2 of us with our frames just block that up, like if we stood there?
I mean, in the sense that they'd have to kill their way past you, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, we could form like a defensive position. Ariadne, why don't you and I go up there and attack them and block that way so they can't get out? That way only a couple can attack at a time.
That's a good idea. I'm happy to be the distraction if we need to. There's no sense in you doing it. I mean, Tillingbet is my love.
Will we need 2 people to block that up, Tal, or 1?
It looks like you would need 2. It's a good 10-foot wide hole in the wall.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I think it'll take both of us.
Oh, okay, let's do it. I'm still clutching onto your cloak because I can't see anything really.
Just hit anything with your sword that isn't me.
Before we go all, block them up and fuck them up, hey, can we just distribute out a couple of potions that we got from Lady Pemberton,
Yes.
actually?
Yeah.
Yes.
Here you go. I give 1 healing potion to Maliboo.
He drinks it.
No, he doesn't. I wouldn't let you do that.
Oh no, if he gets it, he's gonna drink it. What? I'm hurt. I'm still hurt.
He can have mine. I'm okay. I rested enough. So I how about this? I'll hold on to mine and he can have it if he needs it.
Need it now?
How many we
Okay.
got? How many we got total?
I have one, but I just gave it to Maliboo and he drank it. So I have a cure wounds spell, but I'm going to run out of slots, so that was sort of an emergency thing.
Oh.
But
Shit, sorry.
But so we have one other one. So Ariadne has 1 and you have 1, Belton.
I have 2 total.
You were just given 3 by Lady Pemberton. You, Belton, had 3 already. So the party should now have 6. -1 if Maliboo really did drink it, then the party has 5.
Oh, he's really gonna drink it. If they hand it to him, he's gonna drink it unless someone stops
He
it.
said he drank it, so I think he drank it. So we have 5.
All right, so Maliboo, you do recover 2d4 plus 2 hit points from drinking that.
Oh no.
Oh my god!
Wow.
I rolled two 1s, and plus 2 gives me 4. So I guess when Violet goes, no, he spills half of it down his face, and he tries to brush it away, and he hands the empty bottle back to her. There you go. Sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on Maliboo, which is at first level, I guess.
1d8 plus your wisdom modifier.
Yeah.
Here's 8 more hit points, dear.
Oh, thanks. Most of his wounds seem to go away.
All right, so we have 5 amongst the 4 of us. I will be more than happy to give up one of my remaining to whoever needs it.
If we have 5, Ariadne has 1, you have 1, I'll take 1, and then you can hold on to the other 2.
I will hold on to 2.
Great.
Maliboo sheepishly looks away.
Okay, great. So we have our healing potions. The plan is to just sort of try to surprise them a little bit. Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, they don't know we're coming, right?
Right.
You might be able to hit them through the windows, too. I don't know.
Yeah, I can definitely do that.
I cannot. I can't see shit.
I wish I had something that could shed some light on the situation, but
Did that dagger that Belton had, did that shed light? Because some magic weapons do.
It illuminates itself and, maybe a foot around it.
It's like Sting.
Yes, yeah, it's not like a lantern.
once they're out in the open, I don't mind lighting a torch or something, but I don't want to do it right away.
We could always just set fire to the house.
What about Talingbet? What if Talingbet's tied up in there?
We'll get him out.
It'll collapse on them, though.
A small fire, but a small fire.
I have a torch. No, it wasn't a bad idea. It's just the whole burning everybody inside with the love of your life. That's a possible downside.
Well, if the virgins are important, then the kobolds will bring them all out.
Oh, that's right. There's more than just Talingbet in there. There's a whole bunch of
There are
virgins.
children in there. Children.
Yeah, we can't burn children.
No, we can't. You're right. They're very important. We'll just go with the original plan. I'm strong. I'll hold the door.
All right. Well, I'm about ready to cast magic missile in through the window.
I'm ready.
Go get him.
Ariadne, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Maliboo's going to lead Ariadne out of the tree line and quickly to the back of the house where there's an opening, and the two of them are going to block the opening with their bodies.
That window, by the way, Tal, is that large enough for, say, a halfling or a gnome to fit through?
Yes.
How high off the ground is it? It's something that we have to climb up to get through the window?
Single story. It's a single-story building.
Okay, cool.
And then, of course, we're going to smack the first thing we see with our weapons.
You swing into position. There is a kobold sort of sitting cross-legged on the ground in that gap, right in front of where Ariadne swings into position behind it. And Ariadne, you're looking into the farmhouse. There is a pack of kobolds in here. A couple of them in your line of sight are in that same sort of scavenged crazy quilt attire as the two that you fought on the riverbank. There are several others who appear to be in crude costumes made of leather and parchment and cloth stitched together as if they're trying to wear some sort of ceremonial effigies of red dragons. Like their sort of shoulders are padded out to make them seem much larger, and they have cowls with crude, oversized artificial teeth, and their own faces are peeking out from inside these larger dragon head costumes that they are wearing. They are not expecting you, so we will go ahead and roll initiative. The kobolds will be surprised.
Awesome.
That's a natural 20.
There you go.
Ooh, Maliboo got a 19.
Violet got a 10.
Belton got a 3.
Kobolds start leaping, clamoring to their feet, shrieking in alarm and panic as Ariadne and Maliboo appear in the gaping hole in the western wall. Ariadne, you have the first move.
As a free action, I smile and say, "Boo," as I take a swing with my longsword. That is a 24 to hit.
24 definitely hits.
That's an 11.
The kobold who was resting in the gap, as it tries to rise for its feet, its scrabbling for a dagger, which had laid on the floor next to it. You chop the longsword down and tear a gaping wound in its back. It screeches and stumbles forward. That one is badly wounded, but it is still alive, Ariadne.
All right.
Next up with my short sword, I'm gonna put another one into it. This one. That is a 24 again.
That will totally hit.
This times 6. Had to end sometime. That's 4 points of damage.
You slash it again, sticking the short sword through its opposite shoulder. It screeches at the wounds, twisting its body around to try to pick up the dagger. It's jabbering and stabbing one finger in the darkness at you. There's mounting panic inside the room. Anything else, Ariadne?
I just want to whisper, nice and close, in a very intimidating manner. You come to my town, hurt my father, and take my person. You will pay.
You hear a guttural voice from somewhere in the darkness of the farmhouse. It says, You come for Cirothe. We fly you away. Fly you away.
Because that's not creepy at all.
He's not even here.
Maliboo, it is your turn.
Okay, so Maliboo will wave his hair around, give a big smile, perfect white teeth, and he is going to use his rage, going to do his raging beauty, and then he is going to whomp this wounded guy in the opening with his Morning Star. For 17.
Just as it manages to stand up, you crack it over the head with the Morning Star. The neck breaks and it collapses into a heap dead at your feet in that open hole in the wall, Maliboo.
And is that the only hole? That's the only hole there, right? Just that one space?
Well, you saw another hole on the other side of the building when you first approached.
Right. I meant in the back of the building here. There aren't any other holes. I can't.
You do not see any other holes.
That's his turn.
Surprised. Violet, it is your turn.
I'm going to move forward 5 feet so that I'm looking right in the window. And I'm going to put my little hand up to the window and I'm just going to start muttering. And I'm going to say,
2 to the power of 10 with the average rate of decrepitude times the coefficient of fear plus X equals a terrible headache.
And I'm going to cast, I'm going to cast Searing Equation, which means that from me in a 15-foot cone, they all have...
Intelligence saving throw.
My spell save DC is 13.
So you catch 4 of them in the blast of your Searing Equation. 1 fails, 2 fail, 1 succeeds. Okay, so 3 failures, 1 success.
Okay, so if they succeed, it halves the damage and they are not deafened. If they fail, they take full damage and are deafened for 1 round. Okay, so I'll roll the damage.
Yeah, 3d4 psychic.
Nice.
That's 10 points of psychic damage. And then I run backwards. So I move 20 feet back into the trees.
Okay, so there are immediate howls of panic and confusion. Ariadne and Maliboo, from where you're standing, you can see these horrifying high-end mathematical symbols swirling around the 4 kobolds closest to the breach. They seem to kind of claw at them and then shy away from them in terror. And then they start yelling to each other as if they talk loud enough, they will be able to hear themselves. And they just get increasingly panicked and increasingly loud until there's a deafening cacophony going on inside the farmhouse of kobolds screaming at themselves and each other to be heard.
Can I have a free...
Is that math?
So, Violet, that is your turn, correct?
Yes.
Belton sees this ridiculous turn of events, math hurting people, and then he just runs out the window and attempts to jump through it.
Wow, that's such a Belton move. I love it.
Yeah, I do not think that requires a roll. Oh, you know what, Belton? I'm actually going to say it does because I did mention there's some broken panes of glass in that window. So why don't you go ahead and make a dexterity acrobatics check for me?
Just an FYI, I do have a feature called Thick Souls, which means Yeah, Thick Souls is I am immune to damage from sharp terrain hazards such as
Nice.
caltrops, broken glass, or the spike growth spell.
Amazing.
All right,
cool.
it's too bad that John McClane in Die Hard was not this sort of halfling. Fair enough, Belton. You scramble right up through the broken glass, and kind of heedlessly kick the glass away and drop into the room.
Amazing.
Now you drop into this farmhouse, Belton. There are 4 frantic, deafened kobolds immediately in front of you. You look around, there are several other kobolds in this room as well, and all of their snouts and yellow gleaming eyes just sort of swivel and focus on the halfling that has just dropped in the window.
Oh my god.
In my internal monologue, I'm like, why do I do this shit? And then I pull out the dwarven dagger and just whisper to it, do some work, buddy. And then I will stab at the kobold closest to me. That is a 9.
Oh, they all saw you burst through the window, Belton?
Of course.
You run up and thrust your dagger, and this is one of the deafened ones that you're screaming at. So it screams very, very loudly and knocks your dagger aside with its short sword, and then screams in your face and is terrified that it can't hear itself and starts patting its own ears with its hands. Anything else, Belton?
Yeah, I mean, this is a mistake. Immediately regretting his decision, Belton will, as a bonus action, disengage. Belton's no dummy. Belton will jump back out the window again.
Okay.
Sorry.
And Ariadne, we're back at the top of the order. It is your turn.
I'm gonna step inside and take a wallop at the one directly in front of me, my longsword. That is gonna be a miss. That's 7.
That does miss.
All right, taking a swing with the short sword. That will be a 17.
17 hits.
That's 9 points of damage.
This is not one of the ones in the crude dragon costume. You slash it across the snout, cutting its top and bottom lip. It screams, can't hear itself scream, and then clamps both its hands over its own mouth and looks around horrified at the other kobolds. Yeah, it is very wounded, but still up. Anything else, Ariadne?
I'm actually gonna tactically retreat and jump right back out. Hopefully it'll follow me.
Maliboo?
Maliboo thinks he can do the exact same thing, so he's going to jump in the house and attack that same one with his Morning Star. For a 16,
16 hits.
takes 10 points of bludgeoning damage, and then his fire runs down his arm again, and he gets his fiery armaments for another 1 point of fire damage.
That is enough. So you swing and its head explodes in a mass of flames and pulp, and the headless, deaf torso collapses to the wooden floor of the farmhouse.
Nice.
Worth mentioning, it seems to be a 2-room farmhouse, Maliboo. You look around, wall-to-wall kobolds, but no prisoners that you can see.
Yeah, they flew them away somewhere.
No prisoners, he calls out. Bonus action. Since there's so many kobolds in here, he's going to spin his Morning Star around over his head and hold up his shield, and he can get +1 to his armor class from that, and he's going to take that. So he's going to protect himself. And then there's one within reach of him.
Yes, yeah, there's one to the southeast of you.
He's going to jump back just like Ariadne because he thinks he can do the same maneuvery thing, which he cannot. So he will take an opportunity attack.
This one does stab at you with a dagger. That's a 19.
Oh, that's target. My armor class is 18, +1 is 19. That's target.
It slashes at your leg as you retreat away from it. 4 points of damage, Maliboo.
Knocked down to 2 because I'm raging.
2 points of slashing damage. As you retreat back through the gap.
Oh, it didn't work. Didn't work.
It is the kobold's turn. The 3 that are deafened are all yelling at once, and then all of a sudden the volume drops. Patting their heads as their ears start working again. One charges up to the gap right in front of Ariadne and Maliboo, massages that gland in its neck, as you saw the ones at the riverfront do. Smell of sulfur emanating from inside of it, and its jaw drops open and a cone of flame gushes from its mouth. Maliboo and Ariadne, you must both make dexterity saving throws.
Okay. That's a 12.
Okay, that is a success.
Maliboo also rolled a 12. Danger sense.
Okay, so this will be half damage. Okay, so you each take 3 points of fire damage as you both sort of throw yourselves to either side of the cone of flame, and it lightly singes you.
Oh, hot.
Am I gonna have any hair by the end of this? We should have just set the house on fire.
You see a kobold emerge around the side of the barn to the east and run up to you, swinging a short sword. Yeah, two of them, actually, both swing their short swords in wide arcs overhead. They probably ran out of the eastern hole in the wall, then around the farmhouse to come to where you are. They took the dash action. One of the dragon-costumed kobolds, Belton, sticks its head out the window, spots you, it just sticks its arm out the window with a dagger in its hand and takes a slash. It takes a slash at you with its dagger. Belton, that is going to be a 15.
15 is target. Actually, that's my armor class.
Belton, that is 3 points of piercing damage from the dagger. Second costumed kobold moves up to the gap in the wall where Maliboo and Ariadne are. It takes both of its hands and pulls down on the bottom jaw and up on the top jaw of its cowl and sticks its real head out and breathes another cone of flame towards Ariadne and Maliboo. You must both make dexterity saving throws.
That's a 16.
And with advantage, Maliboo got a 9.
Okay, Maliboo, you have failed with a 9. Ariadne, you have succeeded. So, Maliboo, you will take 10 fire damage. Ariadne, you will take 5. And Maliboo, you see another kobold appear around the corner of the farmhouse south of you. Belton, one of the red costumed kobolds, joins the pair that are near you.
Oh boy, it's party time.
It is your turn, Violet.
I am going to bonus action cast Shields of Faith on Belton.
Nice.
Violet sees that her friend Belton is starting to get surrounded and he's out there by himself, and she's not good at hand-to-hand combat, as she learned the last time she was turned into goo. So she's going to project basically a sort of dark, smoky shroud around him that slightly obscures him and that makes him harder to hit. And I will shield him for, I think it adds +2 to his armor class? Yeah.
And it lasts 10 minutes.
That is a bonus action. So I'm going to cast Chill Touch on the one directly to the right of Belton, and a skeletal hand will form on the kobolds. We'll boop him on the nose. So I got a 15.
Hand does grab the kobold by the throat.
Okay, great. Oh, again, that does 1 point of necrotic damage. So literally does, again, just poke it on the little snout, and that's it. And then I back up 15 feet.
Belton, it is your turn.
Belton has a kobold problem here. So the first thing that Belton will do is disengage yet again and get the hell out of Dodge and move back around the other side of the house, where he knows that Maliboo and Ariadne are totally there and totally ready to take on these guys. And he runs screaming towards them. I got a problem here! And runs through Ariadne's legs and then sees a kobold right next to her, and will just stab at this kobold in the middle of his sprint. That is a 10.
No, so it sort of leapfrogs over the swing as you run past it.
Damn it, missed again! And then continues to run past Ariadne, past Maliboo, to the other side of Maliboo, where he stays panting and somewhat out of breath.
Ariadne, it is your turn.
As Belton went through my legs, I took a moment to look down at him with, an eyebrow raised and just shrugged. Okay, that's how it's gonna be, huh? Before focusing back on the kobold in front of me, I'd like to try and swing at it again with my longsword. That is a 19 to hit.
19 does hit.
That's 9 points of damage.
You swing, slashing its chest with the longsword. It falls back, still on its feet though.
I'm going in with my short sword. That is a natural 1.
And it jumps up and kind of double stomps on the short sword, pinning it to the ground for a second, and it giggles at you. Sarah! It points 2 index fingers at you with thumbs up.
Oh my god.
Sarah!
Oh, well, in response, I try and mock his giggle like, where is Talingbet?
Hearing the name Talingbet, the 2 kobolds in front of you, Ariadne, their heads swivel towards each other, their eyebrows raised. And they both make arm gestures like flapping, like flying, and they sort of look skyward.
You didn't.
I hate this.
They make more flying gestures.
Oh my god.
I'm not smiling anymore. I'm just kind of glaring at them, glowering, one might say. They won't be laughing for much longer.
Maliboo, it is your turn.
As that one's laughing, Maliboo tries to put his Morningstar right through his teeth. A 15.
15 hits.
He takes 9 points of bludgeoning damage, and fire runs down his arm. And I want to give him the fire anyway, even if he's dead. Additional 3 fire.
Okay, yeah, you put your Morningstar right through his laughing teeth. The flames lick him as his body is already dead and dropping to the ground at Ariadne's feet.
Bonus action, he's going to inhale, and he's going to use one of his maneuvers called Catch Your Breath, and he is going to get 1d6 plus 4 hit points back.
Cool.
3 plus 4, so he gets 7 hit points back.
Great.
Okay. Ariadne, another one swings around in hot pursuit of Belton and emerges north of you. It's going to take a swing with its dagger at you, Ariadne, missing you completely.
I'd like to use my reaction.
Go ahead.
Get him back. That's a natural 20.
Okay. In A5E, Amber, you're just going to roll, including the modifier, everything, and then just double it.
That's 14 points of damage.
All right, this is the one that had the 1 point of chill touch. In a move taught to you by your father, it overcommits with the dagger thrusting past you, and you chop a huge gash in its arm, almost severing the arm as it stumbles and looks up in shock as if it's being treated unfairly by you with that move. Its eyes go wide and it starts shaking a little bit. Okay, that was your reaction. It is still their turn. Violet, you notice there are a couple of kobolds now north of the house with no Belton in sight. They spot you through the trees and race towards you, branches slapping at their faces. And one swings at you with a dagger, another with a short sword. Okay, the dagger will hit with a 19. The short sword will also hit with a 19. From the dagger, you take 5 points of piercing damage. From the short sword, you take 6 points of slashing damage. 11 damage total.
After I take the second hit, I turn completely invisible.
Yeah, you disappear. The 2 kobolds tentatively step forward, weapons drawn, in confusion, sort of prodding around to try to see where you've gone, but they can no longer see you. Ariadne, another of the kobolds from inside the farmhouse runs into the empty space in the gap, and another blast of flame washes over.
The moment he does that, I'm going to use my primal intercept and attack him.
Yes.
My Morningstar. So basically, at the instant an opponent has moved within my guard, which he just did, I get an attack on him. So I'm swinging my Morningstar at the one in front of me, and then at the last second, as soon as I sense that movement, I go walk and try to hit him right on top of the head.
Awesome.
And I rolled a 7.
He does not notice your attack as his head is already swinging towards you, and another cone of flame issues forth. Belton, you notice it is not long enough to reach you, but Ariadne and Maliboo, you must both make dexterity saving throws.
That's an 18.
And a 12 for Maliboo.
Okay, each of you takes 7 fire damage.
Oh my goodness.
Strong one.
And Violet, it is your turn.
I am invisible. I'm going to move 30 feet south. I'm still invisible until the end of this turn, unless I do something, and I'm going to do something, which is cast a cantrip called Arcane Muscles.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Violet. Real quick, before you do that,
Yes.
I do need you to make a couple of concentration checks for the Shield of Faith on Belton.
Oh, okay, sure. 14 and 15.
Yep, you maintain the spell on Belton. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, that's fine. So I'm going to cast Arcane Muscles, and what happens is...
I just love that. I love that. That's so good.
So I am remembering the time I ran at something with a stick and then was turned into goo, and it's freaking me out. And so I'm basically gonna Hulk out because I'm in a terrible spot here. There's nowhere where I could run where I'm not gonna be vulnerable, basically. So my muscles are going to enlarge with arcane power. They're too clumsy to effectively wield weapons, but it's strong enough for a powerful punch. And until the spell ends, I can punch somebody really hard, and they count as magical punches. And so if I have to, that's what I'm gonna do. But I feel like I need some protection. So now I'm visible, standing there.
Amazing. Belton, it is your turn.
I'm sorry, I just need a second. Belton looks To his right, he sees Maliboo and Ariadne facing off against 3 kobolds, it looks like. Is it immediately discernible what of these kobolds, like, do they all have that gland that they can push? Does it seem like they look different?
The ones in costume you've seen breathe fire. The other ones that are in that crazy quilt, sort of leather padded armor, you've also seen those breathe fire.
Okay. Right. Peering around the edge, do any of these 3 seem very, very badly beat up?
Again, I would call for a check.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm just gonna go for the one that I saw Ariadne hit. So I'm just gonna crawl through Maliboo's legs. Excuse me. Sorry about this. And then stab at the kobold to her north.
Yes. Thank you.
And I'm actually gonna try something that I've never done before, which is a maneuver. I'm gonna do something called eye slash, which is rapidly lashing out in a rising strike, which is appropriate because I'm probably lower than the kobold. Rising strike targeting your opponent's brow, leaving a wound that obscures their vision. So first he was deafened, and now let's see if I can blind this fucker. Make a melee weapon attack against the creature that relies on sight. I'm assuming
I just want to take a moment to compliment Level Up A5E. I love these attacks, and the fucking spells that Violet has, like Arcane Muscles and Searing Equation, are just the most juiced to me.
They're really fun.
It's amazing.
So if I hit this thing with eye slash, it will be blinded until the end of my next turn.
Got it. And if this blow lands, you will also get sneak attack, as you are obviously within 5 feet of your ally. A lot closer than 5 feet of your ally. Right.
Yeah, that's very true.
Uncomfortably closer.
Yeah. After all this build-up, Nat.
Kill it.
I rolled a 13.
Do not
That's
think
with that's with the dwarven dagger.
Yes, I understand, but unfortunately, you come
balls.
just shy of its eyes.
Son of a bitch.
Belton will then, seeing that he has missed yet again, I hate to do this. I'm sorry, Ariadne. And then disengages and crawls back through Maliboo, and ends up on the other side. Maybe going a little further towards the south, and then coming up to onto his feet again, and then staring to the south, where he has now recognized that there is yet another kobold 10 feet from him. And he just sighs. He's like, "Fuck."
Hi, everybody. Hope you're enjoying episode 4 of Podcast Party to Slay a Dragon, presented by Cast Party and EN Publishing. The show will be back shortly for the second part. For this series, we're using Level Up Advanced 5th Edition to enhance the classic D&D 5e experience. For more info on these cool new rules and enhancements for your 5th Edition D&D games, visit levelup5e.com. You can also purchase this adventure as part of Level Up A5E's awesome new release To Save a Kingdom, available in both hardcover and PDF formats. If you're a new listener and you're enjoying this adventure, you should also check out Podcast Party Descent into Avernus as we travel to Hell and hopefully back in a quest to save the stolen city of Elturel from eternal damnation. We have almost 3 years of episodes available now, and new episodes come out right in this feed. Earlier this year, you helped make possible our upcoming Secrets of the Blind Palace actual play series by making Secrets of the Blind Palace go platinum on Dungeon Masters Guild. Well, now another of Tal's adventures, Attack on Coppercoil, is just 15 sales away from going gold. That's like platinum, but less impressive. But still, great. So, we have another proposal for you. If Attack on Coppercoil goes gold in DM's Guild before we begin recording Secrets of the Blind Palace, then that miniseries will become a little longer, and we will include actual plays of both Secrets of the Blind Palace and Attack on Coppercoil. Let me tell you about Attack on Coppercoil first, though. It's a 4 to 7 hour Dungeons & Dragons 5e adventure for characters level 1 through 4. Purchases of both the PDF version or the Roll20 PDF bundle will count towards making the Coppercoil cast happen. So follow the link in the show notes to purchase or grab it at dmsguild.com. Hey, would you like to disastrously misplan an attack on kobolds like our heroes did in this episode? Cast Party's professional dungeon masters are available to hire for online games. We have games for kids as well as for adults, and our DMs can run almost any of the official Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition adventures, as well as third-party adventures and even some we've created ourselves. Details at cast-party.com. Do you ever feel like you have a great visual picture in your head, but you need a little help putting it into words? Well, with a subscription to Describe, you can access thousands of descriptions of monsters, spells, locations, and more, as well as maps, music, and sound effects to enhance your games, only at Describe.com. That's DSCRYB.com. Would you like 10% off that subscription? Well, follow the link in the show notes and use the discount code CASTPARTY, all one word, all caps, to save 10% on your first subscription. If you enjoy Podcast Party, please follow the show, rate us, and leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you. Message us on social media or email us at info@cast-party.com. Follow us on Facebook at CastPartyDND, on Twitter at CastParty2, on Instagram at cast_party, on TikTok at cast_party, or on Threads at cast_party. Thanks very much for listening. And now, back to our adventure in Holdenshire.
Ariadne, it is your turn.
It's fine, Belton, but if you do it one more time, you're gonna have to buy me dinner.
I have 500 gold.
I'm gonna take a swing at the one that Belton was just trying to stab in the eyes. That is a 22 to hit.
Certainly does.
Why can't I roll a 22 to hit?
That's 10 points of damage.
Yeah, you swat it for 10 points of damage. This is in the other arm. It's now bleeding from both of its arms and tries to sort of backpedal away from you. Very badly wounded, but still up, Ariadne.
I will take another try. That's another 22.
Yes, and I don't think it's medically possible for it to survive this blow. So I'll say as it backs away, you slash its throat with the short sword, and it flops backwards dead on its back.
Right.
I'll stay put.
Maliboo?
He is going to swing his mace over his head and try to hit the one that's directly in front of him. A 20, dirty.
Yep, that does hit.
It takes 6 bludgeoning and an additional 1 fire damage.
Oh no, 7? That is not enough.
Damn it.
Well, then, as it barely holds on, he's going to use his bonus action to bash it with his shield. That's a 10.
No, it ducks under the shield.
God damn it.
Throwing itself to the floor of the barn. Anything else, Maliboo?
Got to stand his ground.
The kobolds to the north see you rematerialize south of them, Violet, and the two of them charge back towards you, slashing again with their dagger and short sword. That is 6 points of damage from the dagger.
I'm unconscious.
Okay, Violet drops to the ground. The other one is just going to step right past her bleeding out body and use the dash action to close with Ariadne. Ariadne and Maliboo each have a costumed kobold immediately to their east. Both of those slash at you with their daggers, missing Ariadne and hitting Maliboo. Ariadne, you can do that counterattack move if you want, yeah.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. That's not gonna happen. That's a 7.
Okay, yeah, it dodges your counterattack. Maliboo, you take 3 points of piercing damage, reduced to 1 because you're raging. Belton, the other kobold, runs up from the south. There's fire issuing from its mouth and burning the grass as it approaches you, and then it just sweeps it up your body. Dexterity saving throw, Belton.
Noting, of course, that the Shield of Faith has dropped because
Violet's
gone
down,
unconscious.
Unfortunately.
It's a 15.
Make the save, Belton. You take 8 points of fire damage.
Little dudes are tough.
That is it for the kobolds. Violet, death save, please.
That's a fail.
Okay, well, that's 1 failed death save for Violet. Belton, it is your turn.
Belton will, seeing this scream from Violet and no longer feeling the effects of her spell, will turn and sort of crouch down, looking through the legs of Maliboo and Ariadne and sort of like skeeching to the right a little bit of that kobold so he can see Violet, and seeing her down on the ground. God damn it! Belton then disengages yet again. This is all he's been doing all fight.
He's good at it.
Belton will disengage from the kobold in front of him, and then I'll squidge through Maliboo's legs, squidge through Ariadne's legs, and then come face to face with this kobold, which I cannot squidge through because he's not larger than me. And I will attack this guy as best I can with my dagger, and hopefully do something to him. Come on, do something good. That's a 17.
17 will hit.
So that's 7 piercing damage. Now, daggers, I get a special kind of sneak attack roll. I actually get 2d8 plus 1d6 sneak attack with daggers.
Nice.
Wow. And I get to reroll 2s. I did not get any 2s, but I got 10 piercing damage. So that's a total of 17 piercing damage on this kobold.
Awesome.
Okay.
Huzzah!
You sort of nail his foot to the ground with your dagger. He screeches and then starts hopping up and down, clutching at the wound, struggling and off balance, Belton, but not down.
Damn it. I'm still technically disengaged, so... and I can't get through this guy to get to Violet, so I will have to go 10 more feet to the south, directly next to Maliboo, and await my eventual demise at this fire-breathing kobold to the south of me.
Ariadne.
That's 2 dinners now. Nice ones.
I'm going for a hat trick!
Now that I've also seen that Violet is down, I'm gonna try and push my way past this kobold next to me.
Solid. Please make an athletics check, strength athletics.
That's a 13.
Okay, yeah, you easily bowl over the kobold, shoving him 5 feet backwards.
I'm gonna, as my action, take out that potion and just dump it down her throat.
Oh, sorry, so shoving him back was an action.
Oh, never mind. Well, I'll prepare the potion to then dump down her throat. I would like to move closer. Yes,
Okay.
I am moving.
You have the tactical movement, so you
Heck yeah.
sort of nimbly dance out of the way of the kobolds. They cannot touch you.
Amazing.
So you are in position to give her a potion, but you have used your action for this round. Maliboo, it is your turn.
Maliboo's gonna hit the one in front of him with his Morning Star. Hopefully hit. Nat 1 for a 6.
No.
Bonus action, he's gonna try to shield bash it again. A 5.
No.
Man,
No and no.
I'm in trouble.
A lot of things are about to happen. One of the 2 kobolds on you, Maliboo, has regained its breath weapon,
Son of a bitch.
so it breathes on you and Belton, who must both make dex saves.
Maliboo rolled a 19.
Yay.
I'm not gonna last much longer though.
Belton rolled a 14.
Okay, you both take 7 fire damage.
3 hit points left.
The other one just slashes at you with its dagger, Maliboo, missing you.
Ooh, close.
Belton, another steps up from the south.
Son of a bitch.
Our plan sucked, by the way.
It was a terrible plan.
We should have just set it on fire. Everything would have been fine.
It does miss you, however, Belton. Ariadne, yeah, the one costumed one and the one crazy quilted one are both going to swing at you. Dagger hits you. Short sword does not. 7 points of slashing damage, Ariadne. And that is it for them. Violet, death save.
You got it. Success.
Okay, there's 1 failure and 1 success. And Belton, it is your turn.
The second verse, same as the fucking first. Belton disengages, runs through Maliboo's legs to the other side of Maliboo, and will attempt to slash with his dwarven dagger at the one in front of Maliboo with a 24 to hit.
Certainly hits. That one has 1 hit point left, Belton, so you certainly drop him.
I see kobolds to the left of me, kobolds to the right of me. Here I am stuck in the middle with Maliboo, and then I will move around the kobold with my remaining 15 feet of movement to the other side of it, flanking that kobold, and I'm done.
Ariadne?
Awesome. I am just gonna pour this draft right down Violet's throat. You're my only friend. You can't die yet.
2d4 plus 2 hit points for Violet.
That's 7 hit points.
All right.
Violet, you splutter and cough and swirl back into consciousness. You are prone with 7 hit points.
Oh, Ariadne, thank you.
I'm really glad you're okay. So, you should stand up as soon as you can. I'll get into position, okay? And so
Okay.
I'm gonna use my movement to flank this kobold here.
As you claw back from the netherworld, Violet, that half-life between this world and the next, you have a momentary vision of a pair of feminine, almond-shaped, brilliant green eyes searching through the darkness. Those eyes lock on yours, and you hear a woman's voice. Do not slip away before you give me what I'm owed, Mercury. Then the eyes get wider. You're not him, clever boy. And then you gasp and wake up. Maliboo, it is your turn.
Now that Maliboo sees that Belton is distracting this one kobold on the other side of it, he's going to swing his Morningstar. He's only missed like 6 times in a row. Let's see if he can actually hit it with advantage. A 12 and a 12.
No, that does not hit
Who
Maliboo.
laughed? He will use his bonus action to smash it with his shield. A 13 and a 12. Jeez.
A 13
13
hits.
hit?
Does hit 13 hits.
It takes 5 bludgeoning damage.
Dong, and it staggers back under the impact.
Yeah, he's going to die in this next round. Maliboo is going to shift into the building.
That's actually a good place to be. They can't breathe fire without hitting their own dude.
Yeah, so he's going to shift and flank with Ariadne. Hope no one comes into the building after him.
Ariadne, the kobold north of you, swings at you with its short sword. Missing. Violet, the one looming above you, now stabs down with its dagger. That is a 13.
That misses.
Even with advantage, it does miss.
Yes, I'm going to use my reaction. 23 to hit,
23 does hit.
9 points of damage.
You slash it again. It sort of staggers back towards Violet. 9 points of damage, Violet. Blood splatters on your cloak, just swaying on its feet. The one that's sort of caught between Ariadne and Belton and Maliboo slashes with its dagger at Belton. 17.
17 hits.
5 points of piercing damage.
I have 1 hit point.
Maliboo, another kobold looms up through the entranceway and slashes at you. That will hit. That will be 6 points of slashing damage, reduced
Oh
to
my God.
3 on Maliboo.
I'm at 0, right at 0. Bam, Maliboo drops. Boom.
Violet, it is your turn.
Oh, I'm going to use this scroll that Maliboo gave me, and I'm going to cast Mirror Image. 3 other tiny violets appear, and that's my action.
Belton.
Belton is faced with a dilemma, seeing Maliboo fall on his face. Should he strike at one of these things, or should he feed one of his 2 healing potions to Maliboo and then get the hell out of Dodge? So Belton runs over to Maliboo, uncorks one of his potions of healing, feeds it to Maliboo as his action, and says, Buddy, get up. Come on, we're getting out of here, if we can. And then he will disengage and jump through the window to the north, and then run over to the single solitary kobold between Ariadne and Violet.
Awesome. Go ahead and roll a 2d4 plus 2 healing for Maliboo.
2 4s and a 2, that is a total of 10. Back to you, sir.
Great roll.
Awesome. Maliboo regains consciousness with 10 hit points. It is Ariadne's turn.
I'm going to take a swing at the one between myself and Violet. It's a 22 to hit
Yes.
That certainly will hit.
with 4 points of damage.
Okay, that is enough. It crumbles to the
Yes.
ground dead between you and Violet.
And I'm going to immediately turn around and swing at the one right behind me. That's a natural 20.
Yes. Finally.
That is 16 points of damage.
Awesome.
Woohoo!
You smack that one, it crunches into the wall and slides down. You hear ribs crack. It starts to try to claw its way away from you. It's not quite dead though, Ariadne. Anything else?
Oh, man.
I'm just gonna let out a guttural, "Ah, I'm coming for you." She's a little worked up.
And Maliboo.
So Maliboo's lying on the ground. Can he strike at a kobold from the prone position?
At disadvantage.
But I'm flanking with Ariadne, so I
So
can
at push, yeah. Just a flat roll.
Right. So before he gets up, he's just going to swing his Morningstar at the legs of the one right in front of him.
Why wouldn't you? Okay.
20.
Yes.
Woo!
20 hits.
That's 6 points of bludgeoning plus 5 points of fire damage for 11.
Okay. And flames engulf its body as it sort of pancakes into the floor. That one is also down.
Nice.
And then Ariadne's probably the only one that can see this, but Maliboo disappears.
Nice.
And he is going to use an Eladrin feature called Face Step, which replaces his movement, and he can go 30 feet to a place he sees. So he's going right out the window to the east and into the trees to the east.
Nice.
Awesome move. Now I understand why he didn't get up. Awesome.
And then his bonus action, he's going to hold his shield up to protect himself in case someone happens to notice.
You pass into the dreaming. Moving through multicolored purple and pink mists, you hear... And somewhere close by, you sense the presence of a stoic elk watching you, blinking with a emblem around its neck of a castle surrounded by willow trees. Just regards you unemotionally as you slowly make your way past it, and then time speeds up to its regular pace and you reappear in the forest outside the farmhouse.
I recognize that elk, obviously.
Yes, it's a familiar elk. The kobold south of Ariadne is going to disengage, crawls away from her, gets up, and starts running. The other kobold emerges from the building, looks down at what's just happened, looks up at you, and then it runs the other way. And the other is going to disengage from these swirling multiple violets that it sees in front of it, starts running towards the gully. Violet, it is now your turn.
I have these duplicates, so I don't want to waste them. So I just move 10 feet following the kobold that's running, leaving 10 feet between us. And I'm going to cast Chill Touch on it. Nope, that's a 4.
The hand claws fruitlessly at it. Belton, it is your turn.
I only see one of these kobolds running for the hills, so I have no idea what's happening. So I just sort of whisper shout to Ariadne, are they still there?
I can't see anything. I can't see in the dark. You're asking the wrong person.
Excuse me for 1 second. And Belton will just turn and look. There really are no kobolds left. We have defeated them. Ha ha ha! God, I need a break. And then Belton will just take the remainder of his action, just slump against the side of the house and pull out his potion of healing and drink it.
Is it your intent to try to pursue the fleeing kobolds?
Nope.
No.
I'm done.
No? Okay. And it is not their intent to try to re-engage with you. So I'm going to call that a detente and say that we are out of combat.
Nice.
I pat Belton on the head and say, when we get back to town, I'll take my 2 dinners without you there.
I am perfectly okay with that.
You search the farmhouse thoroughly, but there are no signs of Tlingbet or any of the other missing villagers from Hengistbury. You have no choice but to believe the boasts of the kobolds that their captives were somehow flown to Cirothe itself by what means you are unsure. Having at least dispatched this seeming safe house of theirs by the Moor Run River, you return to the boat and to Hengistbury to report your findings to the Pembertons. You gather once again in the temple. Bran Torek is now revived, and he is standing up on 2 crutches, one leg heavily bandaged, but he insists on standing unassisted by attendants as the 4 of you re-enter. He hobbles over to Ariadne, and he says, You're safe.
Yes, Father. I'm so happy you're alive.
He puts his arms around you and he says, I'm sorry I couldn't stop them from taking him. I was wrong about Tlingbet. He's a good man, and you're a good woman.
About time you figured that out, huh? And I give him a little lightweight punch just to the arm before giving him a big hug.
All right. I'm in recovery here. Lord Pemberton says, my friends, you bring grave news indeed, and yet I am not without hope. You truly are becoming local heroes. You notice that his sword is lying across his knees, and his hand is resting lightly across it. Lady Sybil sits beside him, and Bran Torek moves to stand at their side, clearly pained by his injuries, yet suffering more from the recent events and the loss of Tlingbet and the other villagers than he is from his wounds. Lord Pemberton says, I must ask you to be heroes once more, task which dwarfs the good things you've done for the county so far. Task which is so dangerous that I dare not ask anyone else. I'm sure you've guessed already. He looks at Bran Torek and looks at Lady Sybil, and says, we want you to kill that dragon, Cirothe, and end its reign of terror. He lifts the sword, holding it lightly in his palms towards you. My sword has a secret. It is named Dragonbane. I will give you this treasured heirloom. Blade may even the odds somewhat. Strike the beast in the heart, and it will surely perish. But its magic is incomplete. Its scabbard is lost. The ancestral seat of my family, Brockendale Castle. You must recover it. The Dragonbane will be whole, give you a chance against the dragon. My friends, if you do this for me, for us, for Holdenshire, for Endora, I will name you knights. Cannot afford to reward you well with gold, but I can shower you with honor. What say you?
Thanks for listening. This episode was dungeon mastered by Tal Aviezer and featured Andy Cannistra as Maliboo, Carolyn Fox as Violet, me, Matt Gordon, as Belton Freedew, and actor, cosplayer, and custom costume designer Amber Heck as Ariadne Torek. You can follow Amber on Instagram at sunblade_cosplay. This episode was edited by Tal Aviezer and Carolyn Fox. Remember, if you enjoy Podcast Party, please follow the show, rate us, and leave us a review. Thanks very much for listening. We'll be back in 2 weeks with episode 74 of Descent into Avernus, and in 4 weeks with episode 5 of To Slay a Dragon.